Hello, everyone. Welcome to the awesome Algebro. Today, we're going to be learning about solving equations with variables on both sides. So, to begin, we first have to know that solving equations always involve the SADMEP method. Why? Because equations have a specific order in which to solve. SADMEP is actually the opposite of PEMDAS, which has the same acronym values, where, for SADMEP, first step, subtraction or addition, the S and A. Step 2, DM, division, multiplication. And the third step, EP, exponent in parentheses. We have to solve things in that order. When it comes to solving equations with variables on both sides, we actually have to do two things. We have to involve both combining like terms and the SADMEP operations. So basically, we have to put terms together that are the same, then do opposite operations in order to finalize our answer. Just to see this in action, let's start with an equation. 7c minus 3 equals 5c plus 19. Now, we always begin by making our scales so we keep everything fair and balanced. Now, in order to solve, we want to make sure we see and identify all like terms. So we're going to box everything up that is the same. So let's start with 7c, then negative 3, then 5c, and then positive 19. Now notice I put all of the C variables in blue, and I put all the number values in red, just so we can see those are the things that are the same and should go together. Now, when we want to do these, we want to make sure we put everything together that is the same on one side or the other. So we're going to put all the C values on one side of the equation, all the numerical values on the other side. But we can't just move numbers willy-nilly how we want to. We have to do it in a mathematical fashion. So we'll move the variables first by identifying which one is the smaller variable. Out of 7c and 5c, which one of those is smaller? Well, obviously, 5c. So we want to move 5c to the other side mathematically. We can't just move it. We have to move it in a mathematical way by doing the opposite. Well, what is the opposite of 5c? Well, the opposite of 5c is negative 5c. So I'll put that on one side and I'll put negative 5c on the other side. Luckily for us, the 5c's cancel out. So we have 7c minus 5c, which should give us 2c minus 3 equals 19. Now at this step, this is where our SADMEP now starts to begin. So step number 1, SADMEP. Do we see any subtraction or addition? 2c minus 3 equals 19. We clearly see subtraction. Well, what is the opposite of subtraction? Well, the opposite of subtraction is addition. So the opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. I add 3 to this side and I add 3 to the other side. Well, the 3's cancel out, which will leave us with 2c equals 22. Now, we will go to step 2 in SADMEP, which is, do we see any division or multiplication? Well, when we have 2c equals 22, a number next to a variable right here means multiplication. Well, whenever you see multiplication, we know the opposite of that would be division. Well, the opposite of multiplying by 2 would be dividing by 2. So I will divide this side by 2. I'll divide the other side by 2. The two 2's cancel themselves out. And that leaves us with our final answer of C equals 11. Okay, now that we've seen how to solve these problems, let's go to a few more examples and see if we can understand this concept just a little bit better. We're taking a look at solving with variables on each side by seeing just a couple of more examples. We're going to start with 12a minus 10 equals 8a minus 30. The first place we want to start is we're going to go ahead and make our scales. So that way we just keep both sides balanced. Now, second thing we're going to do is we're going to identify all like terms. So I'll start with 12a. Then I will start with 8a. Then I'll take a look at negative 10. Then I will highlight negative 30. So that way we can see all the terms that we're looking for. What we want to do at this step is we see 12a and we see 8a as our variables. We want to make sure they are on the same side, but we can't just place them anywhere we want. We have to make sure mathematically we're moving things from one side to the other. So we want to identify which one is the smallest, 12a or 8a. Out of the two, 8a is the smaller of the two. We want to get rid of it. How do we get rid of 8a? Simple. Subtract 8a. But then we'll go to the other side and put subtract 8a. Luckily for us, 8a minus 8a cancels out. And what we will have left is 4a minus 10 equals negative 30. Now at this point, we need to identify our SADMEP rules. SADMEP stands for subtraction or addition, whatever we see first. What do we happen to see in this instance first? We happen to see subtraction. Here we see minus 10. What's the opposite of minus 10? Simple, plus 10. So we'll put plus 10 here. Then we'll put plus 10 here. Luckily for us again, these two 10s, they cancel themselves out. So at this point, what do we have left? We have 4a equals negative 20. Now, if we have 4a equals negative 20, we have now done all subtraction and addition. Now we have to move to division and multiplication. And out of the two operations we see, out of division and multiplication, what do we see? Clearly, a number next to a letter means multiplication. So we have to do the opposite, which is division. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. So that's what we'll do. We'll divide by 4 on this side. We'll divide by 4 on this side. These two 4s cancel themselves out. And what we have left at this stage, left over, will be a equals, and negative 20 divided by 4, negative 5. Okay, let's go to the next problem. We see r plus 13 equals negative 15 minus 3r. Okay, first step, let's make our scale in order to make sure that everything is balanced. Now, we want to highlight our variables. We got r, negative 3r, and we also have positive 13, and we have negative 15. So we have all of the variables in red. We have all the numbers in blue. So we just need to see, let's look at the variables and see which ones do we need to put together first. If we have r and negative 3r, we want to get rid of the smallest one first. If this is r and this is negative 3r, the smaller of the two is negative 3r. Well, we want to do the opposite of what we see. Well, the opposite of what we see is positive 3r. I'll put positive 3r on this side as well. The negative 3r, the positive 3r cancel out. But we need to realize before we write this down, this is actually 1 in front of the r. So we have 1r plus 3r. This will give us 4r plus 13 equals negative 15. Now at this point, again, we use our SADMEP methods in order to solve. SADMEP, subtraction or addition. What do we see? We see addition. We see plus 13. The opposite of addition is subtraction. Minus 13 here, minus 13 there. The two 13s cancel out. And now we have left, we have 4r equals negative 28. Almost finished. A number next to a letter means multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So multiplying by 4, we'll do the opposite. Now we will divide by 4. Divide by 4 here, divide by 4 there. The two 4s cancel themselves out. What we are left with at this point is r equals negative 7. Now for the last problem, we have 5, open parentheses, x minus 4, close parentheses, equals 8x plus 7. I put this one on purpose because this one involves distributive property. You can also check out our distributive property video also in the YouTube channel. But I want to start here with understanding that distributive means everything inside gets multiplied by the number outside. So you have 5 times the x. You also have 5 times -4. Well, ultimately, what does that get us? Ultimately, that'll give us 5x minus 20. Let me make sure I make my scale so I keep both sides balanced. And I still have my equals 8x plus 7. So now this looks like one of the normal problems that we've done before up to this point. But I still want to make sure I identify the variables. I have 5x on this side. I have 8x on this side. I also have -20. I also have positive 7. Now that I have these things, again, you look at the variables and you want to move the smallest variable out of 5x and 8x. Which one is the smallest of the two? Simple, 5x. What's the opposite of positive 5x? Negative 5x. Negative 5x on this side as well. So these 5x's, they cancel out. And now on this side, we're left with -20 equals 3x plus 7. Now we still need to do our SADMEP methodology where we're looking for any subtraction or addition. Here we see addition. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. Subtract 7 here, subtract 7 there. The two 7's cancel out. What are we left with at this point? -20 minus 7 gives us -27 equals 3x. As we've seen before, a number next to a letter means multiplication. So we would need to do the opposite, which is division. Divide by 3 on this side, divide by 3 on that side. Well, the two 3's cancel themselves out. So what we have left at this point is -9 equals x. But we don't usually write our answers that way, so we have to write it in standard format, which in this case would be x equals -9. Hey friends, thanks for watching the Awesome Algebro. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for the most awesome algebra tips available. And again, thank you for making me a part of your day.